Hello, my name is Mr. Anderson, and this is Kickstarter Talk Newborns. So what is Kickstarter Talk Newborns? Well, it is our opportunity to update the list when we have to in the middle of the week, like we're about to. After we went off the show, I got a new Kickstarter, two new Kickstarters, and we'd actually forgotten to add one, which is my bad, so we made sure to do it. We are going to talk about, that's Jack's in the background, watching Justice League Titans versus Teen Titans versus Justice League. He's giving his opinions on yesterday's vacation day. We are going to go straight to the list that we looked at last week, which is still here. And now this is a cool feature, and I love talking about this. When we do this, you'll notice that the list itself is updated since the last time we did it. There's our video from the original Kickstarter talk, but the actual video itself has now updated. I mean, the list is updated. It will now reflect the brand new Kickstarters that we're going to do. And we segregated them to the bottom of the list specifically because they're brand new. Now, here's how we're going to do it, because we've never done this show before, and this is technically our pilot show. How I see us doing this is we're going to talk about the three that got forgotten, or we didn't get to add in time for the Kickstarter. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about them first. And then we'll go over the list really quickly, just tell you what's available. We won't go much into detail. With that said, we're going to start right now with Coalition Comics, the power company. And we're going to take a look at what they have to offer us with their video. All right, guys, Ryan Palmer's joining us in the chat room, just saying hi. We're really going to dive into this in a minute. I do think that there's a very interesting story behind it. We're just going to let the credits roll. And you guys can see this is a collaborative effort. This is a piece. This is more. All right, we're going to mute this because I don't think the volume is that important. This is a collaborative effort, as if Dark Horse, Image, DC Comics, Marvel Comics were to come together. It's pretty cool that way. So let's talk about that. Last April in 2016, the Facebook forum Independent Creators Connection, ICC, had 8 creators come together to talk about combining ideas and characters for a new independent universe called the Coalition Comics. Robert Lockheed of Iron Gates, Jeremy Christmas of Kingsley Comics, Joe Davis, Chris Tomzea, Carlos Rafael of Championship Comics, Tony Clapper of Neverland, Crazy Monkey Inc. Comics, Roy Johnson of Standard Comics, and John Jones of Hero Tech hatched the idea of creating Power Company. So basically, this is 7 heroes brought together by Professor Bizarre, a collector of rarest and most powerful museum pieces in the universe, and powerful mystic. Due to a mysterious time-space portal seemingly created out of nowhere, the world-conquering Krabella With his claims of superiorities over Homo sapiens, assembles a group of like-minded soldiers to help him take Professor Bizarro's Earth. You have Necro Cage, Abamius, Sabrik, the Magi, Priestess, Danielle, Brimcold, Poison Arrow, and Overcast. And overrun his sanctum as the spoils of his defeat, Damage Inc. Traveling the overmost independent comic universe, Professor Bizarro recruits 5-star Metalmorph, Forecast, Crimson Streak, Victor, Spirit's Destiny, and Killer Whale to fight the good fight and rid the world of this diabolical threat. So that's kind of cool. You set the stage. None of these characters who are being taken out of their universes are actually being like, there's no throwing away the universe. There's no retelling. They're just being plucked out of their universe for this particular event, and they're part of this series now. Now, what's so amazing about this idea is that means that these creators have banded together to create you a stage to show you who their characters are. And hopefully none of their characters get killed in the event. But I mean, how fantastic is that? You're going to see all these different worlds and hints to all these different worlds. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's a great idea. It definitely looks like a very unique universe in itself with the different characters being brought together. I'd love to have any one of those creators on Spoken Sins in the next couple of weeks. We've actually been slacking on Spoken Sins. I haven't had one in 2 weeks now. So I'm itching to have a Spoken Sins. And I'd like to talk about, how do you make the decision who gets the art? Are the artists really involved with the original artists who came up with these characters? Do all these characters have their own comics, or will there be a comic? And if there is a comic, will it be launched under some sort of mutually owned, or maybe it might not even be mutually owned. It might be something that winds up being a collaborative thing where everyone owns it, sort of. So I'm interested. You know, if you guys hearing me right now, I know the person who made me wise to this. I sent out an invite for this. I hope he joins us for this talk, at least leaves us a message later when he sees it, because I really want to know. I think it's really interesting. I mean, you guys have my interest piqued. I mean, it's got a lot of great creators in it. It's just, I'm wondering about the artists, because the art is great, man. This looks like it's right out of DC comic for the most part. This is how DC looks to me right now. And when I first saw these pages, I was like, wow, that could just be a DC comic right now being released this week. So I think it's interesting. I definitely think it's worth the look and worth the $1. And we're going to talk about how important the $1 is when we go down the major list. But I mean, it looks great. It really, I mean, I would love to actually like have either me or one of my guys who now do the reviews to take a look at this and read it for them. And you can see there's different artists who are doing things in this, and I'm very interested in that. See, Joe Davis is doing something there. Doesn't mention who the artist is here, but you can see there's different art styles being used and implemented. So I am very, like, you have Luis Rivera down here. So, I mean, you definitely have something of major talent here. I'm not sure what, oh, this is a very, like, a sketch cover. So, and we got Roy Jones is doing something. So you see, like, there's all this stuff coming up. John Jones. There's all these things coming together. It looks great. Honestly, this should sell itself just because of how many creators are behind it. I didn't even, because I just added this literally before going on air. I didn't even look at where they are. They are so close to funding. I'm definitely going to get behind this. I'm going to help get them to the goal, and I suggest everyone does that too. Jax is a little excited in the background. I'm going to bribe him with some candy. But as I bribe him for candy, let's take a look at our second video. This is Evil Dead 2, the Book of the Thread.
In celebration of the 30th anniversary of the cult classic Evil Dead 2, Source Point Press and Studio Canal are proud to present to you Evil Dead 2, the Book of the Thread. The Book of the Thread is taking an old school art form in the craft world, cross-stitch, and making it groovier than ever before. Renowned horror stitcher Rebecca Marks Burley really delivers with this incredible collection, featuring over 20 designs, all officially licensed Evil Dead 2 patterns that you can use to create artwork or adorn and customize items in your home. Think cross stitches for old ladies? And we brought an old lady of our own to tell you, think again. Henrietta, correction, Deadite Henrietta, guides you through the process and gives you expert tips and tricks along the way to create some of the most badass cross-stitch art you've ever seen. Never done cross-stitch before? No problem. Henrietta teaches you everything you need to know. And we think you should listen to it. Or otherwise. At SourcePoint Press, we live and breathe horror. The opportunity to work with Rebecca and bring a unique Evil Dead 2 book to life is something we could not pass up. We spent numerous months making this product the coolest craft book you have ever seen. And we're so proud of it. With Kickstarter, not only will your pre-orders help us greatly to breathe life in this incredible craft book, it's a fantastic tool for making sure that Evil Dead 2 fans find out about what we've been up to. Plus, it's our opportunity to reward fans with super cool exclusive bonus rewards. You can get bonus horror cross-stitch patterns, digital horror comics from SourcePoint Press, original cross-stitch artwork from Rebecca Marks Burley herself, art prints from Joshua Warner and Terry Heidemeyer, and more. So here we are. Want to support the horror community? Want to learn a new craft? Make some badass Evil Dead 2 art? Pick your package now and dive in. Let's do this.
Now, credit to Bob Sally, because Bob Sally actually is the reason that I know about this Kickstarter. Now, the production value on that video was awesome. Honestly, I was a huge fan of Evil Dead 2. I watched the Showtime series. Or Star series. Star series. I actually have to catch up on that because, as many creators and parents of a 2-year-old know, your time is spent either trying to work on your stuff or watching television shows for kids. And, you know, Rough Tweet and Dave I'm all caught up on, but I'm not caught up on the Evil Dead. But this looks fantastic. This is a definitely unique idea. This shows the creativity that is indie comics. I mean, I've done cross-stitching. I'm not good at it. I'm not going to say I'm good at it. I don't have the patience for it. My ADHD requires me to explode if I do this for too long, and there's just pieces of me on the wall. So I can't do cross-stitching, but I find it to be a very hugely talented thing. The coordination to do it, the patience to do it is something amazing. I do think that sometimes we get to a point in technology where we're almost going to lose human creativity and the skills that humans can do. And I'm glad to see a project like this. I'm very happy to see this. It's very thrilling. This is something that, you know, you talk about skill. It's definitely, I mean, look what they did with that picture and how they did that. Rebecca's obviously on her game with this cross stitch. I've heard of cross training people who are crazy and good at things. She's the cross stitch champion right here. And I do think that it's amazing, the things that she's brought to life and together. And I mean, this looks like an interesting project. It might not be your everyday project, but that's a good thing. It's always good to back things that aren't the everyday project, because the everyday project sometimes creates a stagnation of creativity, and we don't want that. We don't want to be stuck in a rut. I mean, just look at Marvel. DC was, giving them credit, they're coming back around. Give a lot of credit to you, the indie comic book fans, who have shown sales in the indie market that now justify DC's guys. And we wrote an article about this, how at one of the panels at MegaCon Orlando, just this past May during Memorial Day weekend, how the I forgot his name, and I always do, and I should write it down. But he was talking about the guy who's in charge of the editing. He was talking with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, and he was saying it was because of the sales of indie comics and because of Kickstarter and because of everything that's been going on, because of everything that has been coming to be in the indie market, that DC Comics now gets to take chances. Now, I just also want to make sure that everyone understands that, and that it is very important to realize that when you're backing indie comics, you're also backing the change in Marvel and DC, because you're empowering those creators, you're empowering the creative team to argue with their corporate overlords and tell them to let them create new worlds, because without new worlds, we don't have a future. And it's just that simple. So with that said, we're going to take just another quick look at some of this cross-stitching. And I'm just going to show you how amazing and how skilled this has to be. I mean, that makes my back hurt looking at having to sit there and get these details, because it's so amazing. It's so much that goes into this. And I mean, there's a skill level here that I really hope doesn't end, because this is for those who like history and who enjoy history. They understand how important things like this were at a certain point in our culture and in our history. And these were something that were this skill was passed down from generation to generation. I truly hope it doesn't disappear. I believe my sister and me were taught how to do this. I just don't know if she's actually done it in a few years, but I know that my grandmother constantly was doing things like this. So, I mean, it's something I grew up around. So, I mean, back it. I mean, look, $367 in just the first, 48 hours? I believe this has only been 2 days, maybe 3 days today. I mean, we're getting to the 3-day mark. That's an amazing tally. There's no reason for it to slow down. It's your job to hit the share button. And as we always do in these videos, we're going to teach you how easy it is to share something on Kickstarter. Yeah. How cool is that? You just go over here, you hit the little share guy. There you go. You've just shared something. And by sharing it, not only have you helped the creator, but you've also shown the creator and the world that you believe in this project. So I definitely suggest always sharing something if you believe in it. It doesn't matter if you're low on money, you don't got enough money, you see the project and you're like, it's just out of my range right now. I know we're all married. We all have kids. We all have something. We all can understand the human necessity of money and sometimes not having a lot, but share is free, but it's important. It's powerful. A like is like, I like that. You know, that's cool. You know, like a kid likes their toy and then throws it to the side. When you share it, you're showing it to be like the Binky. You're showing it to be like the Blanky. You're showing it to be like Teddy Bear, that you really like this. You like it so much that you wanted to share it with the world. So please always share things you believe in, and believe in things like this that challenge the creative standard and show a different way to be creative. How amazing is that? I know that art schools are disappearing. So maybe, you know, projects like this can help energize the idea that human beings are very artistic. You know, it's one of the things that we're amazing at. And in this generation that's coming with all these computer games and these computer graphics, sometimes stuff like this is even more important to show the power a human has without having a keyboard. So I like it. I'm going to wind up backing it. Just added it. And don't be me. I mean, you see at the top of the screen, I want to say this. I have 3 alerts. I'm very horrible at this. Please don't be me. I'm going to make sure as soon as I get off the air to take care of those 3. I'm not going to make an excuse. I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I'm sorry for anyone whose rewards those are. I'll make sure to do it today. When you see a reward survey, fill it out immediately. Don't be an idiot like Rob. All right. And then finally today, for our newborns show, we have Toothville. I kind of ruined the video, so I'm going to have to go back. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's check out Toothville. tooth villain. So, this is from Kim Roberts, and those of you who watch this show weekly have heard me talk in great detail about how much of a fan of Kim Roberts I am. I think that what she does, and she's got a creative style that's unique. I think that she can go from genre to genre. She's shown that she can do kid stuff. She's shown that she can do dark horror. She shows that she can do kind of a social awareness piece. I think as well that was part of a horror thing, but I also thought it spoke to social awareness as well. I mean, the team behind this, you got Roberts, you got Patrick, you got Alan. I know Kablam, I believe, is their printer. I've seen them at the shows. I think I've said hi to them at a point. One of the creators. I know I've seen this banner somewhere. I don't know if it was the artist or something like that. I know it wasn't Kim Roberts, because I would absolutely love to meet Kim Roberts in person and thank her for her creativity. So it's definitely not Kim Roberts. But I mean, this is a fantastic little story. It's an age appropriate kind of. If you're anything like me, I'm terrified of dentists, and anyone who knows me understands that. I've had a lot of bad experience with dentists. I think that they're very evil people, and I'm sorry if you're a dentist. But I've had very bad experiences with dentists. They actually left a piece of a metal drill bit in my gum line at one point after a root canal, and had to dig out my entire gum line. So even the title in this sends like shivers down my spine. But obviously, it's an interesting concept. I like the art. I like the alternative cover here. I thought that was cool. This is from Ghostly Tides. We talked a lot about this, remember, guys? This was fantastic. I liked this project. It made me laugh. I was happy to see it get funded. You have Slinky Sugar Highs, the Attack of the 50-Foot Kitty. Basically, what we're looking at is a very well orchestrated rewards tier. And I mean, here's the Ghostbusters, who you're going to call, and there's the little kitty. It's fantastic. Now, one of the cool things, and I wanted to make sure that we talked about this as we're scrolling about these rewards, are these. Check these out. These are glasses that have sketches in them. Jax is excited. That, or he's playing with his toys and they're having a conversation. Either way, Jax is excited. But this is fantastic. It's 2 glasses and a fantastic tooth rot drink dispenser. How cool is that? And I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I see it only being a matter of time before Kim Roberts becomes a giant name. There's a couple people who I know, who just off the top of my head, who I know have it, and they're gonna one day be there. And if they're not, I'm gonna be personally disappointed, because I don't see why they wouldn't get there. You think of a Casey Pierce, you think of a Markel Dupree, you think of Victor Dandridge. Kim Roberts is in that list for me, and I can keep going. I can name 5 more. I'm just off the top of my head. I'm just going with the names that are coming to me. But I know Ryan Palmer. He's an intense creator who's very passionate about his work. Anyone who saw the video that he did, that was fantastic. You have, a Mike Metlin, who's just so passionate working on that Butcher project of his. J.R. Blanton, all the time working it. Richard Rivera, who does Savvy Funny. If I keep going, I'm going to go on forever. But I mean, these are the people, and of course, my artists, the guys I'm working with, who like the Satine Zahil, Zilia, and I've never heard her say her last name, so I think that's how you would say it. You have Matt Slay, great guy. You got Mr. Hudson, who's a fantastic artist. I'm such a fan of his. You got Jacob, who's doing Wild Space with me right now. You got Claude, who's doing my Monsters story. And these are the creators that I see who are going to be up and coming. And when I start thinking of the creators, I always think of Kim Roberts. Like when people ask me who I'm fans of, Kim Roberts comes to mind. And of course, there are dozens of other guys. I mean, they're the guys who are just there, breaking through right now. Like you gotta give it to Dirk Manning, and even Victor Dandridge is right there. I mean, he's hosting things. Like these guys are paving the way for indie comics, and I really think Kim Roberts is going to be there. And when it comes to these creators like Dirk Manning, like a Martin Dunn, like a Ruben Romero, like these guys who are out there taking names and kicking ass and doing great things. And like, again, I could keep going. You got Bob Sally, you got Josh Dow. I can go on for all day about these creators. But the cool thing about these creators, and before I keep going, because I know I'll name literally 200 creators and we'll be here all day, because I'll keep feeling like I have to. Every creator is awesome. But especially the creators who are continuously doing these Kickstarters, when you get something like this, you could also look at this as if you're a collector of things and you want to have like a collector's item, these people, if they were a stock, are about to shoot up. And things like this that are going to be very rare and aren't going to be reproduced at a different time, more than likely, are going to be worth a lot of money. So if you're looking at Kickstarters and you're looking for another reason beyond the creativity of it, here's a great reason. Because this is a fantastic creator who's doing things and is going to be moving up. So as she moves up, backing something like this is awesome. You want to know what else would be awesome? Being drawn into something. How cool would that be? You could actually be drawn into a comic book that later becomes a big deal. You could be like, yeah, that's right. That was me in Kim Roberts' comic book, because that's how cool I am. And you could tell the world when Kim Roberts becomes like the big deal that we think she's going to be at Written Sins, and she finally starts getting the notice that we think she deserves, you'll be able to say, I was in a Kim Roberts book. Were you? So, I mean, these things in indie comics, you could also look at and should look at as cool things that you get to talk about later. And I think that's very important. And I think that it's a very gigantic thing that you should do and you have to do. With that said, I'm going to let Toothville speak for itself, because I think Kim Roberts does awesome. We're going to keep talking about it, of course, in the weeks to come. But, I mean, as we look at these rewards, they're fantastic. She's a fantastic creator. The team behind this, you can tell, puts some love and energy into what they do. And, again, not every comic book's got to be serious. It's good to have comic books that we can take a look at and have fun with. That's the point of comic books. So, I mean, I love these fun air books. I don't think everything's got to be serious. I know there's certain people in indie comics who bring on the drama of, oh, comic books have to be dark or something like that. No, they don't. They can be fun. Anyone who says that's obviously never read a newspaper on Sunday. Sunday comics were my lifeblood as a kid growing up, and I love comic books. And it was probably, they were the gateway drugs to me loving comic books. That's Jack in the background dropping his little people on the ground. Apparently they didn't listen to him. All right, so those are the three that are the newborns for Kickstarter. We're going to take a quick minute, and we're going to go back, and we're going to see something. We're going to go check out the list. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to, oh, you guys are going to see the naked site for a minute. Oh, no, you've seen Written Sins naked, you perverts. So we're here on Art of the Day. Just came out from Aaron. Aaron's another great creator. He does toaster guys. See, I could go all day. I could go down everyone on this list and how fantastic they are. Speaking of fantastic, our Kazu's up from the MegaCon. Good error, Rob. MegaCon Orlando event. Everyone's going to think her name's Megan now. We are looking for her, but Jesse Hansen, another great creator. Shared a table with them. Great guy. See, I can go on all day. We're going to go to the Kickstarter talk sheet, because if I keep looking at this, I'm going to keep mentioning creators, because then I'm going to start feeling like I have to mention someone if I don't mention someone like Nick Allen, who's in our chat room, and Caleb, who I'm a great fan of. See, it's going to keep going. And then, of course, you have Chris Mad, and you have, from Kickstarter talk last week, you have Chris Mad, and you have Danielle, you have Markel Dupree's entire squad, which, by the way, there's a crossover event. I couldn't find it. I'm going to have to reach out to him. But between the Night and the Night and Angelica Reigns, if you back it, there's another exclusive art like there was for, as you'll see on the list, and that's why I'm bringing it up now. Well, I'll bring it up in a second. We're going to talk about Tommy real quick. Well, we'll talk about Tommy in a minute. That was our pick of the week. I just want to finish what I was saying. See, this was a crossover between The Untold and Angelica Reigns. You can now have that same art crossover, but it's between the Night and Angelica Reigns. So if you back the Night, Angelica Reigns, and The Untold, you'll get yourself 2 pieces of exclusive Kickstarter art. You're welcome for me telling you that. So, I mean, there is no link you need. Just back them. because what they're going to do is compare emails. And if your email's on this one, that one, and that one, you get this. To be clear, you don't have to back all three to get the art necessarily for the two. They're batched this way. The Untold and Angelica Reigns, and Angelica Reigns and the Knight. There's no crossover between the Untold and the Knight. As of yet, who knows? There might be. But as of right now, there's not. So you have to get those combinations. Basically, Angelica Reigns is the linchpin and in the thing. So use that to bring them together. I think that's it. I'm trying to remember. I don't think there was anything else, but yeah, I think that's basically it. And then we have the R4AU patch. Now, of course, we all want to support autism, but sometimes it goes beyond just supporting autism. It goes about supporting the idea of us all understanding about autism, because I do think that it's important to, I'm going to wind up sneezing in a second. It is important for us to know as a culture about autism, because so many people suffer from autism in this day and age. And I think with that in mind, it is important that we share information and we have these groups come together that help educate the entire world. And there are certain things I know that people get tired of being told about, but this is one of them we do need to know, because I do go to the stores and I do see them. And my wife worked with autism and worked with other people with mental disabilities. And I know that there's a stigmatism behind how to handle them in public. And programs like this can and will help with that. So we're going to be proud to have this at our tables in the next month or two, when we do have a table, Written Sins, when we share it with Sinful Comics. So look forward to that. Jax is all hyper in the background. The candy bar I used to bribe him has come to life and has now made him hyper. So we're going to have to wrap this up as quick as we can. The boy's going crazy. Far Out Space Adventures inside the head of Higgins, Boston, baby. The Interdimensional Mystery starring Weirdo Freak Monsters. Basically, you want to get stoned and read this comic book. It would be fantastic. If you're in one of the states where it's legal, if it's not, don't do drugs, kids. It's bad. Very, very bad. But if you are in one of those states that allows smoking, this is the comic book for you. It's fantastic. It's fun. Remember, we talked about fun. The Untold and the Untold 1 and the Untold 2. Ooh, Jax just had a good fall. The Untold 1. Are you okay, baby? I love the kid. He falls on the floor and he gets right back up like it didn't happen. Untold 1 and Untold 2 is a horror comic series that combines psychological unrest with the striking visual gore to create a truly terrifying experience. This is the Untold #1, which was successfully funded back in 2016, which was one of the first Kickstarters Written Sins actually did. Ironic that in our 1 year of comics, we're back doing the second one. 1 year of 1 year of Sins, we're back covering the second one. How cool is that? Untold 2 is the latest installment within the Untold series. With the Kickstarter, we are hoping the completion of the creator's process, artwork, printing fees, packing, and shipping of all. Speaking of artists, our good friend, my good friend, Chris Mad, is actually the one behind the art. I'm very thrilled about that. I think Chris Mad did a great job in our mutual project when he helped me out with Fetish Babies. He's on our back cover. He's actually on the new banner that we have with the art that he did for it. So I get to show off his stuff. So I couldn't be more thrilled with Chris Mad and how he's helped me. So I really do hope you guys will take a minute and take a look at that. Never forget to support our veterans. Look, I talk about this every time I can talk about it. And so here I am talking about it once again. Never forget veterans. What does that mean? We have to support our veterans. Seriously, guys, it's not hard. It's not hard to support the veterans. It just takes some effort. So invest some effort and do things like sharing the Veterans Wife's post, writing an article for their magazine, joining their writing staff, become a subscriber, support the Veteran Life comics, shop at their cafe press store, or participate in fundraising and donating events. Not very hard. We're always going to do it. You can find it on our site, Veterans Wife. If you're looking for a program to back, and as a matter of fact, today, Josh, I'm going to actually reach out to you and see if there's anything you want at the Written Sins table. Whenever we set up, I want to know if the Veteran's Wife wants something at the Written Sins table, because I think it's important. that we support them. Tommy, we said we were going to talk about Tommy, and here's Tommy. Tommy's one of the most creative comic books that you're going to read. It does humor with imaginary friend who could be a serial killer. It's a good time, but a scary good time. It's done by great creators, and they're using this Kickstarter as a way to get to San Diego Comic-Con. And let's be honest, sometimes in life, we actually have to deal with the fact that some things do cost money, like going to Comic-Cons are going to cost money. It's a necessary evil. It's a horrible necessary evil. But if you want comic book creators to be able to afford to go to these events, sometimes a Kickstarter might be in order. Remember, Comic-Cons are expensive as hell. You go there as a fan, but mind you, comic book creators have to do it in a more expensive way multiple times in a year. As comic book fans, you usually go to a local show. You don't pay for hotels. You don't pay for airfare. You don't pay for anything but a ticket to get in, and then you complain about how expensive the soda is or how expensive the art is. You don't realize how expensive it is to just go to one of those events. So this is where a lot of creators are turning to now, to Kickstarter, to help them be able to fund, because they know. And I'll say it, Tommy's a creation that deserves to be out there in the world. So Kickstarters like this are important to fund, and you'll get something awesome out of it. I've read the books. They're fantastic. You'll enjoy them. If you have any bit of a funny bone, you'll enjoy them. If you like horror, you'll enjoy them. If you like creative stuff, you'll enjoy it. Speaking of creative stuff, we actually had Mark Schmidt on the program. We did it this week back on Tuesday, the Threat comic book series, and he talked about how the Threat is based upon the idea of corporations taking over cities and what bad shit would happen if they were in charge. On top of that, he was talking to us about how they distributed a cure by mosquitoes. And speaking of mosquitoes, I swear I saw a fog machine trying to kill some mosquitoes last night on my way back from Legoland. So it made me think of this thing and how it stayed with me, that sometimes comic books reflect what will happen in the real world, because comic book creators read, are some of the most avid readers. They pay attention to the world around them. And I said this recently on one of my threads on my Facebook page, that comic book creators often write about fixing the world. We don't even realize we do, but we do. We see something, whether it's social unrest, whether it's a problem with corporations, whether it's just a struggle from good and evil, whether it's a love story. We write things that we want to see happen. Reality is what we want to see happen. And sometimes we also write the dark truth about the human nature. And this is one of those projects that I think is fantastic. I think it looks amazing, and I really do suggest it. Speaking of things that look fun, interesting, and fantastic, we have Wendell #1, The Vengeance Wears Cargo Shorts. This is the vigilante of crime that, I mean, he might be in over his head. It just might not be what he should be doing, but he ain't going to let that stop him. This guy is going to defend his city, which is an apartment complex. And he has been trying his best to stop car thieves when ninjas show up. What will happen when Wendell the Vigilante, the savior of his little community of apartment buildings, are put under real duress from ninjas? Check it out on Kickstarter. And remember, every dollar counts. Anytime you see a Kickstarter and it's something that is interesting to you, whether you don't have the money that week, or you're just not sure you can invest in that, you want to invest in something else a little heavily, and you're kind of on the fence, give them $1. Give them, just seriously, $1. $1 is not going to kill you. Skip the coffee, $1. And that $1 is going to show the world that you believe in them. It's going to get them $1 closer to a goal, or maybe it's going to help with shipping on something. So every dollar counts. Speaking of fantastic new worlds, welcome to Gron, the Obular Revenge Book 3. This is an interesting concept. I was talking about how I'm not a big fan of what is this, the game that this looks like? Oh, I'm drawing a mental blank right now because I know I have to change Jax's movie, and he's giving me the look. I feel it's not something I'm a huge fan of, so I don't feel horrible that way, but I feel horrible like as a nerd and a geek that I can't remember the name right now. And it just had that movie. I feel so stupid right now. They might have to come take my geek card. But it looks like a fantasy realm world story. Still drawing a blank. And it looks fantastic. The art is amazing. It has an interesting story. And that's a nice tattoo on the side of her. So I would suggest checking it out. Definitely looks interesting. I still cannot believe I can't remember what it is. It's going to come to me as soon as this video is off. Speaking of amazing things, we have Angelica Range, which is about a young woman being hunted by an ancient religious cult who are trying to take her powers to change the world for evil. Her destiny is to be a bad guy, but she's going to do everything she can to stop that destiny from coming true. She's decided that she's in charge of her life, and she'll be damned if she lets anyone tell her how she's going to live. She's going to play life by her rules, and she's going to make sure that she does it her way. Speaking of people that don't do it their way, Jax the Anderson, who's actually dying for a new movie to put in the DVD player right now, is going to Kickstarter on June 30th. I invite you all to come see how having parents who are creators can affect a little young mind in a positive way, as well as going to Comic-Cons. This is an actual, honestly, very close to my heart piece. It's about my son. It's definitely something that's very important to me. I think it also shows my artistic range as a writer. The fact that I can pivot between the titles I can, and I'm very interested in sharing with the world that I can write more than just one type of comic book. And I do find that to be very important. So I do encourage you to join us with this. Plus, as we've talked about in the other program, if you go watch the other video, there are a lot of big plans I have for this project. So go watch the original video from this week and get the inside scoop on something that I haven't publicly talked about outside of these videos for you fantastic sinners, fans, and creators who view our site every day. The night has returned. Remember we were talking about that Kickstarter where you get the cool poster going out with Angelica Range? Well, this is it, and he has returned. I have done a review of this. It is amazing. I think it's something that you want to watch. My son literally has a disc in his hand. He is trying to tell me, Daddy, it is time for a new movie. 1 second, Jax. I promise we will get to the movie in a second. He's learned how to open up the DVD case. He is putting the pressure on me. But as speaking of pressure, feel pressured to miss out on the art which can be found somewhere on Markel Dupree's. And I promise you we're going to run it on Written Sins. It came out yesterday when I was at Legoland with the CEO of Written Sins, Jax over there. It looks great. And I mean, you should be backing this. You should, because Markel Dupree is behind this. And he's behind it in the way that he's creating a universe. He is the watcher of this brand new universe. He is the Stan Lee of this new universe he's creating. And this universe is great. This is, remember I said the people who are going to make it, Markel Dupree is going to make it. He's going to be a name you're going to know. And he's going to have, he's putting all of his energy, and that's why he was our pick for June. That's why I wanted him. That's why he's the splash pager. And, you know, he's behind this, and he's trying to make this happen. So help me have this happen. And remember, you can always share the Written Sins list every week because that helps out literally 10 to 15 creators. We saw about the Italiano graphic novel series from Michael Bloom. Please make his dreams come true. He passionately said it on the Kickstarter talk, on his Kickstarter video, that you could either back it or not back it and crush his dreams. Don't crush his dreams. Don't be a bad person. Help the Italiano graphic novel series come to life. Tom Spellman is back with issue number 8 of Year of the Goat. I swear to you, he's putting these out almost bi-monthly at this point. There is constantly a Year of the Goat going on. It's constantly getting funded. I don't know if he needs our help. I'm kind of doing this just to look cool because I want to say that, hey, we were talking about Year of the Goat. That's right, because we're cool. Definitely back it. Get the action figure. How cool is that? Year of the Goat's got action figures. Collect them all. I don't know if you actually can. You have to talk to Tom Spellman about that. Make sure that you pressure him to let you collect them all. Fight of the Century, now on Kickstarter. We're talking MMA meets cyberpunk. Wow. Now that's some shit. That's amazing. For those that don't know what cyberpunk is, shame on you. Shame on you. If you know what Dungeons and Dragons are, you should know what cyberpunk is. Go look it up. You have Google. There's no reason you should not know. So I'm serious. Go look on Google. I don't want to hear it. Everyone knows what MMA is. It's where Brock Lesnar kicks ass outside of the WWE, as many others do. Brian Greger, I heard, is going to be fighting Nate Floydweather. That's going to be interesting. So MMA brings you interesting stuff too. They are the indies of boxing. So check that out soon. The fight of the century, not the fight. The fight, just wait for it to go on YouTube. It's not worth $50 for 20 seconds of one of them going to the corner and crying. And I don't know which one of them is going to get beat, but you know, with the egos in that ring, one of them is getting beat bad. But don't get beat and not get part of this fight of the century book. This fight of the century book is awesome, and you should go watch the video that we did on Tuesday to see how awesome it is. Are you one of us? Last year, in our first year, we asked creators, are you one of us? What we were asking is, you're a creator who creates brand new worlds and stops the reboot culture. This year, we're asking everyone, are you one of us? Are you someone who's tired of the reboot culture? Are you someone who wants creative new worlds? Are you want something like your son not jumping on the couch? Are you someone who wants something brand new, something interesting? It is time to support a change. And Indie Comics is that change, and Written Sins is doing our best to help create that change. Uh-oh, there goes my son into my sister's room, probably waking him up. This is Are You One of Us for Written Sins. Become one of us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our Facebook group, our Facebook page. And make sure to subscribe with our main site, writtensins.com, which is also Creators Written Sins. Either one works, including writtensinsproductions.com. Become one of us and see exclusive content and amazing things from Indie Comics. Finally, we have what we talked about today, Collation Comics. Wants you to turn on the power for an amazing new universe brought together by many creators from many different comic book publishers and groups. It is the project to back right now because you're supporting many different universes in one comic book. You're welcome. For me showing you, Toothville 2 is back. Toothville 1 funded without a problem, and I don't see a problem with getting it 2. Kim Roberts is behind it. It's time that you show the support to Kim Roberts that you should, because she's an up-and-coming creator, and she's going to be creating fantastic and wonderful new worlds. And, of course, don't forget to cross-stitch your way into horror creations by backing Source Point Press's Evil Dead Book of the Thread. That has been our pilot show for creators of our pilot show of Kickstarter Talk Newborns. I will see you at the next live video, YouTube.